It's time to hand out awards. 800-224-2004. Much like we made our AFC and NFC predictions for the playoffs, I'll recap real fast in a second. I want to give out my way too early awards for this upcoming NFL year. 800-224-2004. Again, the number to call into the show. So in the playoffs for the AFC, I have the number 1 seed being Kansas City, number 2 being Jacksonville, number 3 being Cincinnati, and number 4 being Buffalo. The 3 wildcard teams for me right now are Miami, Pittsburgh, and the New York Jets. In the NFC, I have the number 1 seed being the San Francisco 49ers. The number 2 seed, surprise, surprise, I'm going to need a shot of Jameson after this one. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 3, I will go with the New Orleans Saints. And number 3, the Detroit Lions. And number 4, the New Orleans Saints. My 3 wildcard teams. I have the Philadelphia Eagles, plain simple. They're not missing out. I have the Atlanta Falcons sneaking their way in, and the Seattle Seahawks. So let's go ahead and give out the awards now. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, and Comeback Player of the Year. We'll work our way backwards. Comeback Player of the Year. My winner is Damar Hamlin. I'm going to go with Damar Hamlin to go ahead and get there. Listen, the dude should not be playing football. The guy should not be back on the field. The man almost died, and we all saw it. We all watched as he laid there fighting for his life, hoping that he would have a chance to breathe and live again. And he's out there playing football. He takes 1 snap. It's very similar to what happened with Alex Smith. Alex Smith takes 1 snap. He's winning the award, plain simple. Damar Hamlin's story is one of trepidation. It's one of determination. It's one of travesty, but it's also one of triumph. The fact that he is back out on the football field is beyond impressive. He takes 1 snap. He wins Comeback Player of the Year, hands down without question. Coach of the Year. My winner is Arthur Smith of the Atlanta Falcons. Listen, here's my thing. If Atlanta finds a way to win the division, I think that he would automatically qualify, especially if he gets to like 11 plus wins. But this is a team that has really been on the cusp of being mediocre to basically mundane since the 28-3 debacle. This is the best roster he's had so far. They made the moves defensively to really show progression and prove that they can trend upward with the mediocre roster. They bring in Jesse Bates, they bring in Jeff Okudah, they bring in Calais Campbell, but they bring in a new defensive coordinator in Ryan Nielsen. I expect potential to really hit its stride at times on that side of the football. Maybe a breakout year from a guy like Arnold Adekebi, a D'Angelo Malone in the pass rushing set. Maybe you get a big-time year from Bud Dupree, who also came over. Jesse Bates, I think, really fixes the back end of the secondary. I like this team a lot, mainly because of the offensive personnel. You're going to have a great rushing attack with Ty Algier and Bijan Robinson. You're going to have, I think, a really solid campaign if you get the ball to guys like Drake London in space, Kyle Pitts in space. I think Mac Hollins is fine. Maybe this team, if they play really hot, ends up actually going and getting a wide receiver at the trade deadline because there's going to be options available. I could see this team getting 12 wins this year. I could. If it all comes down to Desmond Ridder and he doesn't make mental mistakes. And if he does, well, you have your quarterback on a very team-friendly deal for the next 2 years, and Arthur Smith, I think, does belong in that category. Honorable mention goes to Dan Campbell. I really think the fighting Dan Campbells are going to do something in the Motor City. My Defensive Rookie of the Year. The winner is Will Anderson Jr. for the Houston Texans. Texans needed an enforcer on that defensive front. It's not the fact that they were the worst team in stopping the run last year. They also did not have an elite pass rusher. Like Jerry Hughes kind of revitalized himself and found a reinvokeness in his potential with 9 sacks. This is a team that should have a double-digit sack leader. And I'm not saying that Will Anderson's going to be that dude. Maybe it's a Jonathan Grenard. Maybe it is Jerry Hughes. But the fact that you traded up to go get this kid out of Alabama, and the fact that so far he is already making headlines, drawing rave reviews, and I've seen it up close and personal, he is the best defensive player on this staff when full go. I think he could be leading all rookies in sacks, leading all rookies in pressures, leading all rookies in quarterback hurries, leading them in tackles for losses. Every major stat line, he can go ahead and absolutely crush. I will not be shocked to see Will Anderson finish with double-digit sacks. I'm going to put him at 8.5 and 12.5 tackles for losses with 25 pressures. If he does that, that's enough for him to take home the hardware, without question. Offensive Player of the Year. This is an award that can go to a lot of different guys. I'm very excited to see what this is. My winner is Bijan Robinson with the Atlanta Falcons. This is the running back that teams salivate over. They say don't draft a running back in the first round. And you know what? Atlanta didn't do that. What do you mean, Cole? How did Atlanta not get a first round running back? Well, because he's not a running back. He's a weapon. That's what he is. Go back and look at his stat line at Texas. There were people in the building who said on multiple occasions, our best receiver is not Xavier Worthy or Jatavion Sanders. Our best receiver is Bijan Robinson because of his route running skills, his vision in the open field, his ability to go ahead and turn up and just make mincemeat out of defenses. And he's showing that already in training camp. Not to mention, he is one of the best pure runners already in the NFL. Not to mention, his ability to make separation and turn nothing into something is second to none. I will not be shocked to see him finish with over 1,300 total yards of scrimmage. I will not be shocked to see him get 12 plus touchdowns. I will not be shocked to see him rush for over 1,000 yards, even if he is splitting carries with Ty Algier. I think that Bijan Robinson, my apologies, because that's how you say his name, not Bijan, is going to be in for not just a breakout season, but he's going to solidify himself as a top 5 running back going into 2024. My Defensive Player of the Year, the winner is Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons is an elite pass rusher. Here's the crazy part. He was doing it from the inside linebacker spot. Now you're moving him to straight up pass rusher. You're not asking to play in space anymore. You're not asking to make tackles in the open field. You're asking him to do one thing: inflict pain, inflict pressure, and inflict dismal play from a quarterback. And he can do that. And he's done that for years already since coming out of Penn State. Now that he is relegated to one role, I think he is going to have record-setting numbers for the Dallas Cowboys. And this is why I believe that Dallas can end up winning the division over the likes of the Philadelphia Eagles because of that defense. You're going to see him finish with a career high in sacks, a career high in hurries, a career high in pressures, a career high in QB hits, and a career high in tackle for losses. He will be the name that you do not want to face on Sundays, and he will be the inflictor, the enforcer, and the determining factor that truly separates this Cowboys team apart. He wins Defensive Player of the Year for me. Offensive Player of the Year. The winner is back-to-back Justin Jefferson. I think that Jay Jetta is in for not only a record-setting year, and yes, I am about to say what I'm about to say. He will get 2,000 yards. I am all in on it. He is the go-to weapon for Kirk Cousins. They are going to have to win one way this season. Shootout fashion. He is going to be the dude who terrorizes defenses. His route running is pristine as all hell. He is an inflictor of nothing short of mediocrity from cornerbacks, and he makes good cornerbacks look bad. Like, that's what he does. He will be the guy that you do not want to face off against in man coverage, and he will be a dude who finishes with a career high in receptions, targets, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. Kirk Cousins will like that, and I think a lot of Minnesota fans will like that their wide receiver number 1 ends up getting the likes of a second Offensive Player of the Year. My breakout Offensive Player of the Year, I'm adding this one in, and a breakout Defensive Player of the Year. I'm going to go with Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. We're talking about Garrett Wilson, and for good reason. Garrett Wilson was phenomenal last year. But Chris Olave was a very good wide receiver with mediocre quarterback play from Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston in the Bayou. Now you get a guy who knows how to throw a deep ball in Derek Carr. No one should argue that the deep ball passes from D4 is phenomenal. He's going to build that rapport very quickly. I think he establishes himself as a top 10 wide receiver by the end of the year. Look out for him. Defensive breakout player of the year. I'm going to go with Derek Stingley Jr. of the Houston Texans. I believe in this unit, similar to what you saw with Sauce Gardner last year. He's going to be making plays on the football. He's going to be elite in coverage. He's going to blanket receivers. And by the season's end, he's going to show why he was worth the number 3 overall pick. And my MVP, My MVP, the luscious locks of Duval County. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. The addition of Calvin Ridley will be a separator. You still have great weaponry in Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram. And the offensive construction with Doug Peterson in year 2 is going to take new heights. There was a reason why we called him a can't miss prospect. I think he can throw for 5,000 plus yards. I think he can throw for 40 plus touchdowns. And I think he can lead Jacksonville to a Super Bowl. Give me Trevor Lawrence to win the MVP in year 3. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.